And
Oh, it didn't kick nobody out.
Oh, there we go. Hold on.
Somebody, hold on, let me fix this too, because I want the bandits together, child. I want to separate them too.
Oh, okay. What's up, y'all? So, as you can see, they put me in the number one square tonight because I'm going to be
Oh, please.
hosting us as we talk about the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Teresa gets married. So, what's up, Danny? Let's go ahead and get started. How you
We
doing?
ready for you, baby.
Damie?
I'm sorry, y'all told me I'm not allowed to talk tonight.
I just want to see you follow the rules. How are you, Cortez?
Danny told me I'm not allowed to talk.
Hello, do y'all see something? Y'all didn't see on the screen. Look at the top of the screen, top left of the screen. Do y'all see something where it says?
I just see live. I don't see. There's something underneath it, but the live.
So usually we have the name of the show.
Now she said
up there.
Teresa.
Oh, it's
Now
just
it says
Teresa.
now Teresa. This Teresa night, bitches. Okay.
Not you gonna get the Gorgas live tweeting us.
Whatever. Gorgas, nonetheless, what's going on, y'all?
All right, so let's go ahead and we can jump into it. So they start off with like a little montage of playback showing us how that they got to being engaged and the engagement, and we learned that it was almost ruined by the Greeks because Teresa said they didn't know English because they set the fireworks off early, and she was so amused that she forgot to tell Louie when he proposed to her. Just a lot of little giddy stuff showing how they are happy and in love with one another. So then we go into the first scene, which is the rehearsal dinner, and it's the day before the wedding. They arrive at the dinner and they're still giddy, talking about how they're in love with each other, flaws and all. And of course, the man who delivers TMI Louie once tells us that he pees sitting down, and Teresa goes and tells him, you know what, I like that about you too. So she's clearly head over heels in love. So the guests begin to arrive, and we get to meet, not meet, but we get to see Dolores and Jen, then of course Teresa's four girls. And in the flashback, they show us that Teresa is explaining to Gabriella and Gia that their uncle won't be there, which of course they're not happy about it. So then now Gia is sitting with Jen and Dolores, and they're discussing it. And Gia basically says because they're not coming to the wedding, like that's it. Her and her sisters are done. Her mama's done. They don't want nothing to do with Joe and Melissa anymore. And of course, Dolores wants it to be different. But Jen kind of snaps into reality and says everything is not a fairy tale. It's not going to happen that way. So then they head down to the wine room for dinner, and we get to see Louie's father, Louie Sr., and his mom. And they're just like completely elated. Like they're just in love with Teresa. They're in love with the girls. They're in love with the thought of Teresa and Louie being able to get married. He delivers this speech that is kind of, I feel like for me it was telling because we learned that he was alcoholic his whole life, so Louis had to kind of like be the alpha, be the male, take care of everything. He's only been clean. I'm not gonna say only, but he's been clean for 8 years. So I feel like that was kind of telling to Louis' character. Then of course Teresa and Louis thank everybody for coming and them having a good time. But I want to ask y'all, what did y'all feel in regards to all of this, of course, but more so with Gia and Dolores and that conversation regarding Joe not coming? Danny?
Well, I was hoping you didn't call me because, to be honest, I started the episode right when Teresa was thanking everybody yesterday, and I didn't get to go back. So get me on this part. I was hoping I didn't get called on.
It's like at this point, it really felt like a continuation of last episode. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm on Melania's side. I'm tired of fucking talking about it. We knew they weren't going to show up at this wedding. I get that it still hurts, but like nobody was surprised about this, particularly with the way that Teresa, we've recapped this all. I'm glad they decided not to show up last minute. I actually would have been completely over this episode had they showed up. I would have turned this shit off because I don't want to see nothing about them no more. Nothing
at all.
The girls look really good though. Teresa's daughters have grown up to be so beautiful. I love that they're really very articulate. They are able to speak opinions very succinctly, very specifically, which is something that the Joe Gorga is unable to. So good job on that.
And what about you, Cortez? Any thoughts?
I don't have many thoughts, to be honest. I thought this was like its own little special at first, and then when I went to watch it on Peacock, I saw that it was actually episode 16. So this is really the finale of the season, technically. Um, Even though last week, it gave finale tease, but based off that, this gave more of a finale to me, considering that people were still there and they were still talking about it. So when I saw that Gia mentioned it, I mean, I was like, okay, because I don't think we've heard Gia or any of the daughters speak on it at all this season, unless I can't remember, because everything has been, we've heard of things they may have said, we haven't heard from the mouth, other than like little comments, but nothing like this direct to Melissa and Joe and stuff like that. But I guess, I mean, given the situation that they decided, everything else was like the rumors about Melissa and things about Joe, but this was like this literally saying that they weren't coming to the wedding. So I guess, Gia, she's sitting over there with her champagne. I said, oh, she's grown at this rate. At a whole thing. I'm like, she is grown. But I mean, she is. And I didn't have any thoughts other than that. Like, I just didn't, I didn't know this was an actual, like, I thought it was his own special. So I don't know. I guess I thought more of it.
Yeah, it's like
felt like an episode.
They just gave it like a special edit. Basically a special edit, yeah. Okay, so we can move on. It's the wedding day, and then we get to meet Priscilla, who is Teresa's makeup artist, and I believe Lucia, who is her hairstylist, who we now know is responsible for putting that Eiffel Tower on top of her head. But they begin to have a conversation, and Teresa receives a text from Angie, who she met while her father was sick through the hospital that she was taking him to, and they kind of build a bond. So in the text message, Angie's basically giving her well wishes and telling her that she's excited to spend the day with her, and that she had a dream about her parents, and the dad was saying, don't be crying today. Today's going to be a beautiful day, which of course brings Teresa to tears. And now this starts a conversation with Priscilla, the makeup artist, in regards to Joe not being there. Of course, Teresa's last living relative that she's going to count, I guess. Gabriella overhears it. She's not trying to hear that. It's her mother's big day. They don't want to talk about Joe and Melissa. Leave that alone. So that conversation stops, but then here comes Jennifer Aiden. And she takes Teresa to a room with them two can speak. And she first gives her it looks like a really pretty pin with pictures of her parents in it that she can put on and walk down the aisle with, which was a beautiful gift. But then she goes on to apologize for spilling the tea to Danielle, which actually caused Danielle to tell Melissa, which is now the reason they're not coming to the wedding. But Jennifer wants to apologize to Teresa for that. And Teresa, of course, is basically saying, there's no need to apologize. This is how it's supposed to be anyway. Basically, things happen for a reason. However, the girls are assuming, like, are they in there talking about Uncle Joe again? We don't want to do this. It's her mom's wedding day. She wants to have a good day. And Louie's sister, Veronica, confirmed, yes, they are. They're talking about Joe. And Gabriella begins to cry. And then Melania starts to sound like her dad for some reason. She's screaming. She wants to know why is Gabriella crying. What's going on? Why they're talking about my Uncle Joe and Melissa and my mom's her special day. We don't want to do this. Teresa rushes out the room and they try to kind of tell them, hey, we're not talking about that. We're just talking about other things. We're exchanging gifts, but the girls don't want to hear that. But Veronica doesn't want to hear that. They remind everybody this is Teresa's special day. We're not going to discuss Joe or any of that other nonsense when it comes to today. Any thoughts on that?
I thought the gift was pretty. I didn't know if it was for the big hair, like to put in.
It would have got lost.
But I actually thought it was touching. I actually expected Teresa to get a little more emotional at it. I don't know why. Maybe she's just, tired of crying. But I did see, I thought it was sweet. I also appreciated the way her daughters were going off about not wanting her day ruined. I see Taylor made a good comment in the comments, like he doesn't understand people being mad that their daughters care about their mom and are writing for her. Like, isn't that what a child is supposed to do? So, I was glad to see it.
I agree, Danny. If anything, it just shows that Teresa has a strong bond with them, because any child that would fiercely protect their mother shows that they really, really care. And say whatever you want about Teresa, she's insufferable, but she raised those girls right. Those girls have a strong bond with her. I want to make it very, very clear that as much as the girls have their opinions about the situation with Joe and Teresa, we have never seen them talk ill about Joe and Melissa. They haven't said anything negative. The only thing that they've said is, we're tired of this situation. We're tired of them speaking untruths about what actually happened. That isn't what happened. They're making this situation where they've never attacked Melissa's character, they've never attacked Joe's character. So the people that are saying they should stay out of grown folks' business, well, this is their business. They're commenting on keeping them afloat. So I think that these girls are old enough to be able to comment on when something is affecting them and the way that this is playing out with their mother is affecting them.
I think they also have to remember that the Gorgas have now made these girls a talking point as well, like through their podcasts and everything. So you're not going to take no shots at my mama through me and think that I'm not going to say nothing about it. I mean, a lot of people say that like their kids stay out of grown folks' business, but they have more right to give input than any of us who are actually doing it because it is their right. So
definitely more input, more right than Marge and fucking the girl that got kicked off who's a friend now that you stand, Sammy. What's her name? Why did we forget her name, Sammy?
Jackie.
Like, these girls have like a front row seat to what's been going on, and they probably know a lot more than we do. And I see a lot of y'all arguing in the comments about spinoffs and stuff. Let's be honest, I do not want Teresa to get a spinoff. This is like picking between her and Melissa is like picking between like the bottom of the fucking barrel and the least worst.
No, we're gonna have a Melissa show.
I don't want to see Teresa on her spinoff. I don't want to see Melissa on her spinoff. I can barely tolerate Teresa on bitch.
But you know, Jamie, for a lot of people to have said they're not going to watch The Wedding and all that other listeners,
they watched it.
She got right
the
under
second highest.
84,000 people tuned in live.
The second highest,
and that's just on the live rating. When they do their T7 and all that, it would be way higher.
Yeah. So
Okay,
I mean,
let me get my thoughts. While y'all battle out about Melissa and Teresa, my thoughts on this scene. I thought it was right. Jesus, hello. You know, I'm from my set back up top. I don't get no respect down here. Not this plan. So I will say this scene did touch me because when my mom got married, she had run into, and she got married in 2017. She had run into an issue where people were starting to like not show up for her. Like the flower girl was missing. People were like canceling at the last minute. And it had really made me so mad to where I was like just as angry as, who was that? Was it which daughter? As
Melania.
Like I felt that I was like, because in that moment, I think she just wanted her mother to be happy. So it didn't bother me. Now, I will say, unfortunately, your mother is on this reality TV show and they are filming this wedding right after all this drama. So they're going to talk about it. I mean, we just found out as cliffhanger wise, you know, last episode at the end that they're not coming, even though we already knew. But I'm just saying, you know, I guess she would understand that. But these kids know how this show works. They know. Trust me. They are professionals.
It happened 2 days before.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, I don't fault them for constantly asking. I don't think they meant to like make her feel away, but they just wanted to kind of like, I mean, to continue the special, to continue the conversation, because that's really all it's been all season is leading up to this moment. They're not coming. So
okay. So before we move on, make sure that y'all like this video and subscribe if you have not. Like. We're gonna move on now. So then we check in with the groom at his wedding party. Where Louis declares this is the blessed. Was it the blessed that he's ever felt?
I hate you, Sammy. I hate you.
I need to admit that we need a Jack. We need to bury him well because I don't think I've ever heard that word. Yeah, so he was the blessed he's ever been. Then he gets some word from his younger brother David. David and his dad basically just once again praising him and Teresa's relationship. Then we go back into the bride's room with her wedding party. Now they're coming in and they're kind of in awe because now they're seeing that huge hair and they're wondering like whose idea was this? Why is she doing this? But again, of course, it's Teresa. And although Dolores feels like only a beautiful woman can kind of get away with that, she also wants to know, can we still just take this down a couple of notches? But I guess it was just too late to happen. I will say the hair did not look as bad or as off as I did initially
in the pictures.
In the pictures it was like a lot, but on video, it gave typical Jersey. We've seen Teresa with way worse hair. So
I mean, Teresa was rocking that hair in season 1 and 2. Like this is just a return to form.
And it was like right here when she was
before she got a blowout electrolysis.
So I mean, I guess the hair it wasn't as bad as I assumed, but now we can go ahead and move on to the main event. Not the hair, but the ceremony. So now we get Like we're getting mad. It's like a housewife multiverse at this point. We see first we see Danielle who gets a confessional and she expresses regret on opening her mouth and spilling the tea to Melissa because she feels like fortunately like this is the reason why they're not there. Cool, whatever. Then we get to see Dorinda, Jim Fessler's there, Jackie, Ashley, Darby, and then we see Jill Zarin who was talking to Marge Jr., who says that Marge Sr. isn't there because she told her to stay home because Melissa's mom didn't come, nor are the Gorgas, and it's upsetting. And I'm trying to figure out upsetting for who.
I'm trying to figure out why she's telling Jill Zarin this.
Then for some reason, she gets the confessional and she said it's upsetting for the Gorgas, as we've heard all season, because they feel betrayed. Or whatever.
Also, Jill Zarin never misses an opportunity to get in front of a camera.
But she looked good.
She did look good. That face was fresh.
Yeah.
She thought she was coming back for New York, and then they canceled it. And well,
Marge is hitting that Ozempic pen hard. I think she's doing 2 things a day.
Well, she said she lost 14 pounds. But okay, so the guests now they're getting ready to take their seats. They're getting ready for the wedding, and due to the unfortunate arrival of the devil herself, Margaret Josephs, they have to sit in 1,000,000-degree weather. It's hot as hell outside, and Danielle says that it's gonna have their chuchinis and their huhinis dripping. And I don't know where they get them terms from. It drives me wild. But yeah, she said it's gonna have you dripping. So then the wedding party begins to enter, and Lucifer's over there sitting in tears, just wiping her face, recording, and she's just so distraught for whatever reason. And then we have the Queen of New Jersey. She comes down and she walks down the aisle and she exchanges her vows, and she is now a married woman again. So Teresa gets married. She's now married. What do y'all think about all that so far?
Marge,
nice ceremony.
I will
nice
say,
ceremony.
beautiful gowns. If this show did not have Marge, it would not be as highly entertaining as it is, because that lady does not know how to just be demure. She does not know how to not turn it on.
Well, don't use the word lady to describe her.
That person, that woman, she's a nasty, vile woman, but my God, she turns it on for the cameras for whatever the scene calls for.
Old hag energy.
That's so stupid. She's only like 2 years older than Teresa.
But she looks about 15.
She's 6 years older than Teresa.
She's older than my oldest brother.
We won't go there.
We won't go. We can.
No, but yeah, I thought the vows were sweet, and you can tell that Teresa had like nervous energy. She was trying not to mess up. I was glad she brought out a little pad to read because I knew she wouldn't be able to remember. I didn't see the pad.
She could read.
No, she forgot to say I do.
She didn't say yes. She accepts the proposal. She forgot to say I do.
Right. She was like, I love you. I mean, yeah, I do. I'm like, Teresa.
Well, no, because that's Louie had said I love you to her in the middle of his sister reading the vows, so she was replying back to him. But then she was like, oh yes, and I do. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure she pulled that pad out of her hair because I didn't see it nowhere in her hand.
I think my favorite part about the actual ceremony, I love how they had the bridesmaids and the groomsmen like sit off to the side and they just sit up there with their kids. That was like really symbolic to me. I thought that was really, really beautiful. Also,
I love that was it Melania that has gotten the special bond with Louie's autistic son. Like I think my favorite thing about this episode was every scene that they were together with the kids. Like Melania is literally like right there next to him, like guiding him, hugging on him, loving on him. And so I think that, say what you will about Louie, say what you will about Teresa, but I think that how their kids have kind of come together, and we don't see any drama or bickering or anything between them. Like I can't say enough about Teresa's girls. Like those are really, really good girls, and that warmed my heart seeing Melania take to his son like that. That made me smile.
Yeah. Mm. You were saying something, Cortez?
No, I thought it was nice. I thought she looked really, really good. I was very happy for her. I think like Chase made a comment just now about like her giving her life to Bravo. I think this wedding was much bigger than just her marrying Louie, but just her being happy because she has been through a lot. At the on Bravo, she's been through a whole lot and still gonna go through more, I'm sure. So I was happy for her. Like I'm a weddings person. I love weddings. And so I was happy for her, to be honest. She looked good. The hair wasn't as big as it looked in the pictures. At least maybe the camera didn't do it justice. I mean, my TV is a 65-inch, so it looked pretty small.
Right. In comparison, this is good.
In comparison, it was given Elvira.
Yeah,
right.
The wedding was surprisingly. I thought the ceremony was going to be a hell of a lot tackier than it was. It was actually surprisingly nice and understated.
It felt classy, but I
as classy as Jersey can be.
But let me say this: for the heat, that would have pissed me off. Like, that's why I don't like summer weddings. People always want to be outside. I know it probably was to be 90 anything that it was hot.
Yeah.
Like, you heard Danielle said the cha-cha and the crickets.
I don't know if you saw. It was one lady. She was like fanning herself. I don't know who she was, but her little ring curls was like stuck to her face. By the time they finished, they said, "I pronounce you husband and wife." So I know it's hot as fuck.
Marge came. I blame Marge. I will say I do agree with Chase. Watching Teresa and all that she's been through, like, and if you remember on Ultimate Girls Trip, she was saying, like, on her show, she never just gets to have a good season because she's always into it with somebody. This entire episode, that lady was just full of cheer. She was smiling, she was happy, she was dancing, and it was good to actually see her be able to just enjoy filming and not have to worry about combat when it comes to those other girls, specifically her younger brother, and then his wife. I was glad to see her have a good moment.
In terms of storytelling, Teresa literally has been on TV for 12, 13 years at this point. Mm-hmm. This would be a perfect send-off for her just to be able to go away, live her fucking life, be happy, not have to be dramatic in front of the cameras, not have to fight for a check for Bravo for Andy. And if Andy cared anything about this lady like he swears he does, he would give her that respect and honor that she wants to take a year or two off instead of begging her and trying to, force her to come back. Like they said in the comments, this is like a full circle moment. Teresa's given her life to Bravo. And this really felt like the end of Teresa's story of a journey. She's getting her happy ending. She's in a place. Mm-hmm. It's like a footmark to the end of her fight with her brother and Melissa. Like, this is it. She's moving forward with her new family. She said that multiple times in the episode. Like, I really want them to leave this lady alone. Like, all that aside, like, she deserves just to have a fucking year off.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that. And if last night did not prove that, she had the second highest episode throughout the entire season. Yeah. Whether they love or hate Teresa, they're going to tune in just so they can either be happy with her or so they can bash her. And Andy knows that. Bravo knows that. They're not going to let Teresa go without something extremely chaotic happening. Yeah. So you girls just got to deal with it. On to the reception. There is a conversation between Jen Fessler, friend of Jackie, and Marge. And they actually, surprisingly to me, say how beautiful the wedding was, how good Louie and Teresa looked together, how they mesh well, how they just seem like they're supposed to be together. And then Fessler cracks a joke about Marge crying. And she goes on to say because she's devastated that Teresa's only brother is home and she feels guilty partying the night away. Girl. Jackie and Jen don't want to hear none of that. They say it's basically deal with you, get over it. We finna have a good time. And Fessler, she's really telling Marge, like, I roll with you, so calm your ass down so we can enjoy this. Okay. Because I don't want to go nowhere. So they go inside. It's all type of food, and so now Fessler really wants to stay because she sees the smorgasbord of food. They got the macaroni and cheese. She just fell head over heels for that when she got in there. And Teresa and Louie head up to change, so Teresa can change her dress. And meanwhile, Marge is still downstairs with her pity party. She's now telling Dolores, like, once they come in, I'm going to tiptoe out. Dolores is rolling her eyes because don't nobody want to hear that. They're all having a good day. They're all having a good time. But ironically, right after that, there is like blogs and posts and all kind of articles hitting the internet with Joe basically bashing Teresa because he's not at the wedding. Saying that he chose not to be there. And he posted a particular Instagram story that the blogs are posting when he was partying the night before with his friends and Melissa's family with the caption, "Blood does not make you family." This makes his way across Louie's phone, and now he's pissed off. He's running around threatening to bury people. and saying that it's fucked up enough that he's not at the wedding. So for him to be doing this extra stuff to harass Teresa on her wedding day, it's just really like disgusting behavior. But he refuses to tell his wife because he says she deserves to enjoy her day. So he just doesn't bother Teresa with it. What are y'all thoughts on that?
I was thoroughly disgusted for two people who made the decision not to come, who say they can't be bothered with this, they're doing that they're throwing shots, and even had a caption that says, "This is so much more fun than the wedding." You can't even enjoy that moment without thinking about the wedding that you chose not to go to. So it really shows that in that moment they were very pathetic and miserable. And
absolutely,
I was very glad that Louie chose not to give that news to Teresa, because it would have sent her spiraling. So I'm very glad he did the right thing as a husband and protected her in that moment.
I love that nobody gave Marge the time of day. Jen Fessler, her best friend, was more concerned about the hors d'oeuvres and the free champagne that she was about to get into. Even Jackie, who we've seen, I mean, you guys, we've all talked about this entire season, how Jackie has kind of been like attached to Marge and just kind of goes along with whatever and gives any opportunity to defend Melissa and Teresa. Even Jackie was like, girl, one day, please, can we just rest for one
They sick of it too.
I'm sick of Teresa invited me to an event. Goddamn. Like, let me stay. The only thing that I could think of as this scene was playing was that I would not put it past Marge to be giving Joe and Melissa a play-by-play of what was going on, because the timing of what was coming out in these blogs was just a little too convenient.
Yeah.
The timing of these posts, like, that's of all the things, you literally post it right after the ceremony when people are starting to have fun. Like, Marge wanted a reaction. It's that kind of thing that, like, we were talking about. She's a villain. She's leaned into it, but she's getting to that point where it's just like,
the whole time we thinking Marge over there taking pictures, and Marge, she really sit over there on FaceTime enjoying Melissa.
oh, absolutely. I wouldn't put it past her.
Yeah, she should have stayed home. What about you, Cortez?
So, as it relates to Jen and them and Jackie or whatever, like, I'm happy that they said that, but I wish they would have been saying that earlier in the season, because there was a point where Jen Fessler it was also, she was making it her business as well. You recall? So I was just like, okay, I mean, I know it's the wedding day, but let's practice. They should have practiced this like more, not just because it's the wedding day, because honestly, it just seems a bit insincere, just for me. Especially Jackie. I mean, Jackie was having a whole little moment with Teresa earlier this season, so I didn't really understand that. But Louie goes up and down with me, but overall, like, I don't mind Louie. I know he's a red-faced, hot dog looking man sometimes, but for the most part, like, I think he, in this current state, at least, he really cares for Teresa. And he really tries to protect her, considering what she's going through. I hate that I wonder, would he be the same if he also wasn't into it with the family as well? Because he also has an issue with Joe and Melissa too as well. But I'm also glad he didn't tell her. Though I do feel like if he had told her, I think Teresa would have been okay. I think everybody was trying to protect Teresa, but I truly feel like Teresa would have been okay had she heard any news. I don't think anything would have upset her. I think she had really kind of released a lot of that. It was just focused on her day. But that's just my opinion. I don't know.
I think, honestly, we see Teresa react to her brother and Melissa the most is when she's forced to be in scenes with her brother and Melissa. Whenever she is not having to be on camera with them, she really doesn't pay them any mind. So, like, I'm proud of her for that. Good for her. She really shouldn't feed. I mean, we've discussed this before. But I agree with you, Cortez. I particularly that conversation with Jen Aiden earlier, that she really wasn't that bothered with them not being there. So it's like, she's tired. She's been tired for 4 years, but Bravo keeps telling her to fucking fight with these bitches.
Yeah, I think in that scene, it was more so about Joe being her last living relative, like her wanting him to come, but her being in a tug of war because she realizes, like, we're not even really in a good place. I just feel like he's supposed to be there. But since it all happened, it's like, well, if he's not coming, then it is what it is. And I can appreciate, although I do agree with Cortez saying that Jen and Jackie should have been more neutral throughout the season, I can still appreciate them realizing, you know what, today is their actual wedding day and everybody just looks happy. Don't come in here with the bullshit. So I'm glad that they at least had that mind frame for that day, even if they changed their mind the day after. Danny, did you have anything else you want to add?
Not there, no.
Okay. So this is this is basically the end of the episode actually. So I don't know if we want to start putting a line out for callers. But so go ahead.
I did want to say, I think Marge left because she saw that sword Teresa was going to pull out for the cake.
Well, so yeah, we're finna get there. So the guests are still waiting on the wedding party to arrive, and they get like a burlesque show. We got girls in martinis, and they got titties and tassels. And hell, I thought I saw Melissa Smith there. It was just somebody dressed in a khaki suit and a big.
It was another stripper. It was a different stripper.
It was a different stripper. You could tell that they spent money on it. Like I think the Bravo said $500,000 plus. So she put it. She spent money on it. Then the wedding party begins to come in, and we finally get a treat, which is we no longer have to deal with Marge's cry for attention because she leaves. But she does that before Teresa and Louie even come out, which was to me kind of like, what was the purpose of coming anyway? So she goes, no one cares, at least I didn't. And they share their first dance. Teresa's happy. She says in her confessional how she's grateful for her new family, and she's just really looking forward to a new chapter in her life. Then they end the episode with a speech from the girls, who basically let their mom and Louie know that they're excited as well, happy for their new beginning. And then Teresa and Louie thank their chosen family for coming and being a part of their special day. And then that's the end of the episode. So what do y'all think?
I was very happy overall. You know, was it drama filled? No, but if all goes well, you know, the actual wedding day shouldn't be full of drama. So I enjoyed that it was what it should be, a happy wedding. If people want to call that boring because they're seeing someone happy, then baby, I don't know what to tell you.
Right?
It was more so, I think, Teresa, every time Teresa's on scene, it's drama, drama, drama. They weren't used to her just being happy. So they really have nothing that they can kind of go at her or Louie about. Louie face didn't even get red the entire episode. They were just happy.
You know what, though? It could have been more drama, but everybody was making sure that it wasn't. The daughters were like, nah. Louie was like, nah. Like everybody was just genuinely happy for Teresa, minus Marge and the Gorgas and other folks in the chat. It seems like, because some of y'all is not happy. Okay. It seems like, I don't know what y'all got going on, but dang, you would think Teresa stole y'all, man, and fucked them too. Excuse my language, but she seems happy. And so if you are a lover, if you're a lover, I feel like you should have been happy too. But I don't know. You know, I can't speak to it. I thought it was nice. It wasn't drama filled, but I teared up a couple times. I thought it was a nice little moment. It was beautiful. Her hair, she was happy. Yeah, they did well about like protecting it, but it could have been very drama filled. And it seems like some of them were there for it. Marge was trying to make more of a moment when she got shut down. She didn't have anything to say, but let's just go in and party. Because a second ago you was ready to go, but when you realized that nobody was on your side, you know, so there were a lot of moments that it could have went there, but it didn't. So I didn't mind that because I'm tired of this season. I'm tired of the same old conversation. So I was fine. We had a whole 15 episodes of drama. I don't know what more y'all wanted. So yeah.
Jen Fessler was mad as fuck. She had to leave. Did you see her face? She grabbed her purse and said, "Come on." She was
mad. Her husband was there. Mind you, her husband is not a looker.
That's why she cheated.
Oh no.
Also, real quick for a second, I forgot before we go further in the show too, just let's take a moment and acknowledge, you know, that Miss Tina Turner passed today. She had a wonderful life and a great contribution to music, as a legend that will never be forgotten.
That is crazy to me. I have not really spoken on that today, but when I found out, I was like, that's all I've been able to do. I haven't really like looked at the box. I was on the phone with somebody and they told me, I was like, oh my God. But yes, definitely prayers and condolences to her and her family. That is wild to me. But yeah.
Jamie, you got any last thoughts on the entire episode?
I'm very glad that they're putting Jersey on pause for a few months. I think we all need a break. I really hope that Andy, after all this, does not fucking bring back the same old recycled bullshit. I think what we're seeing with Jersey, we're seeing the same thing that a lot of these other franchises run against, and it's stale. The storylines are stale. The drama is stale. This is what happens when you keep the same people on a show for 5+ years. Shit gets stale. It happened with Housewives of New York, and the fans fucking bombed that because they don't like change. It's happening on the OC. They're bringing back all these old people who aren't doing anything. We're seeing Jersey kind of Atlanta hit a wall. Like at some point, you got to let go of these old people. You got to let go of all this old stuff, bring in new stuff, and just be open to the show dynamics changing. Like I understand
agree with that,
wanting Teresa. I get it. But to be honest, let that lady go be happy. Get rid of Joe and Melissa. Honestly,
he's not going to, though.
And I hate that
that's why they're going on.
I hate that for me.
I know, but they're going on pause because I'm telling you, in my opinion and what I feel, that they're going on pause
because he's trying to convince Teresa
to film with them.
So for those
I don't know power.
I don't know exactly because
that's
they went on pause last time. Clank clank.
Mm-hmm. And it was no episode. No, overall, I was excited. Y'all know I have my favorite housewives, and Teresa's definitely in my top 5. So to see her get her moment, her happily ever after, hopefully is happily ever after. She really deserved. Like even watching her throughout this particular episode, like there wasn't any like usually when she talks she can't articulate and she just looks real stressed and uneasy. Like she was just a happy individual. Like it was good to see her just be able to enjoy a moment. And I was living for her girls. They were not for none of the BS. Don't come around here with that. We trying to have a good moment. We trying to have a good day. I loved it. And I really do hope her and Louie go the distance. And like I saw someone in the comments say he has anger issues. We've only seen him have anger issues when it comes to having to defend his wife against her brother. Yeah, like that's the only time. Like she said on, I think it was Watch What Happens Live, but she was basically like, well, we're at home. We're at peace. We're happy. We're smiling. We're having a good time. She was like, it's none of this. She's like, it's only when we have to come outside of our bubble and deal with the nonsense that Louie's red in the face. And for me, that's 100% believable. That's 100%.
And I would be more concerned if her daughters were a little bit apprehensive about Louie. If her daughters expressed some like, I don't know about getting married, but they've for the last 2 years have been super on board, super happy, super like not just the way Louie treats Teresa, but how Louie interacts with them and Louie's kids. So like we're only seeing 50 minutes, 45 minutes of their lives every single week. That's heavily edited, heavily cut and spliced. Like, yeah, the dude's weird, but Teresa's a little fucking weird too. So like
they are a match made in heaven.
Okay, let them be weird together. My God. The toxicity from any single franchise's fan base is really what's honestly the most draining when it comes to these shows. Because like nobody can be happy. Nobody. I mean,
I hope y'all are looking forward to Melissa and Joe's vow renewal if they come back next season because they're going to try to one up Teresa.
Melissa's going to bring on the boy she made out with in the back of the truck. Not a shot of love with Melissa Gorga.
I still find it very funny how the energy shifted from we're done with Teresa, we're so done with this, to now when Teresa says she's done with them and won't share a scene with them anymore. We need to work on family. Of course we're not done. Andy, family's important. Like, come on, child.
Shut up. I hate them.
And it's been a lot of chaos, a lot of chatter, like people saying we need a Gorga special, This was your Gorga special. Let's not forget Mother Jersey's maiden name. Melissa has that by blood. Teresa is a Gorga by blood. Melissa through marriage. So this was your Gorga special. Just let it go. We're not doing Melissa and Joe outside of her.
Yes.
So any callers?
We had someone was in the queue, but he dipped out. He said it was actually Ronnie, but he said he was going to watch the Vanderpump Rules. It's the reunion, so I understand, child. So I don't think unless anybody else is going to call in, I think we may be okay. You want to talk anything about the trailer at all to come or?
Oh yes, I've seen Taylor want to talk about the trailer. I'm excited.
Okay,
I'm excited. From they usually don't give a lot in the trailer, so I can only imagine what we still have not seen.
Yeah,
I do like that they are going to address the Melissa and Joe dealing with the IRS or the feds or whatever would happen there. I'm glad they're going to address that. But I think my favorite part, even though we've seen Teresa, when it comes to the reunion, it's usually her against the cast. And although she has Danielle and Jen there, I love her having Louie behind her, and he was sitting there, both of them just ready for whatever. I loved it. It was everything to me. That whole let's play and Teresa telling Melissa like I'm looking forward to never seeing your fucking face ever again. That's the Teresa I miss. Like stop playing nice. They don't like you. You don't like them. Go ahead and just blow it on out in the water.
In the reunion, as much as I hate Marge, I have to admit when she said you're a criminal. And so is
criminal. So is he.
But
that lady's mouth.
Teresa wasn't faced. She
wasn't sleep with one eye open, bitch.
That would have sent her up a river any other time. Because I remember when Jackie said it, when Jacqueline said it, Jacqueline and Jackie, she was ready to go back to jail behind them. She throwing that.
When Jackie said, "Where'd you learn that? Prison."
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good reunion.
It looks good. What I will say, I'm happy to see the newbies clocking in. The Danielle that we saw at this reunion, that's the Danielle and the energy I wanted to keep. Good for fucking her. Say your piece. Rachel made me scream when she goes, when Danielle said, my balls are hanging out the door. She goes, you mean the door where you usually leave? Like that, I was like, yes. The newbies are fighting. I love this. I love this energy.
You heard us say that. Get the hell on.
I say Jen Aiden is usually the MVP of reunions. However, I think she now kind of knows that people expect her to say sound bites at reunions, and she's coming off very manufactured because old lady energy or old hag energy, I was like,
it was very late.
That fell a little flat because baby, age is something everybody is going to eventually get to. And you have plastic surgery to prevent
I think what we're missing in that read is she's more so saying Marge just looks old. Like we know we're going to get old, but Marge looks old. And I think that's what she was hitting at too. But I'm ready for the reunion because I have so many questions. Like I want to know how was Louie able to get in touch with the Fudas, with the boy's mama, but their lawyer and them, they couldn't find her, but Louie was able to. I want to know what child Marge has, like that was called or threatened at work. We didn't even know if the kids talked to you. So how did you get that information? Like there's so many questions that I want answered, and we only gonna get them at the reunion.
I mean, there are people fighting I didn't expect to be fighting. Like Fuda's husband fighting with Louie was not on my bingo card. I did not expect that.
He been looking for a moment though.
No, he has not. That man mind his own business.
He been looking for a moment. When he was trying to go with Nate behind Danielle and Rachel,
I'm sorry, I didn't say this earlier, but one of the things that I was actually very, very surprised about was I was not aware that Louie and Bill were as close as they are. And I think Bill was the one that said something at the wedding that was like, this is like my brother. I'm going to be here for him, and got invited to. I wasn't aware that they were as close. I think that Teresa and Jen have like a genuine friendship.
They hang out off camera.
Yeah.
That's probably where Louie and Bill became.
Yeah. And it doesn't feel like, oh, we're only going to be hanging out when we're on the show like Beverly Hills.
And to be honest, Bill and Joe, they haven't been the same since last season anyway.
Yeah. Since Joe tried to call him out on that shit.
And Frank and his teeth trying to get a piece. Cringy that he compared teeth to himself to Pauly because of teeth. Like Pauly is still on your mind.
Okay. True. I did y'all see the alternate trailer where Dolores goes after Joe and said, Joe, you and I have never had a problem up till now. I said, I'm not Dolores. Not Dolores.
That's who I'm looking for.
And Marge rolling her eyes.
Oh yeah.
I want more Dolores. Dolores needs to clock in. Like I want more of that Dolores. And
I feel like now that she got a man, she's going to. She's got something that people are going to go after. She's going to clock in.
Marge. Yeah. And in the comments, Teresa has been off parole since 2015, 2016. She can touch them girls now if she wants to.
Oh Lord.
Just a little touch.
And this comment here too. Frank should have been sitting nowhere near Dolores. He should have been sitting next to and behind Andy.
Well, that's his
behind Joe Gorga. He should have been behind Joe.
Yeah.
He should have been at home
today.
He shouldn't have been there.
He should have joined on FaceTime. Like, Frank, we don't need you here. Looking like David Schwimmer when he got them teeth.
Well, I know Rachel and her nose can go.
No. Y'all don't do that. Rachel has shown up all season, whether you like her or hate her. She is a newbie that has clocked in every single episode.
Do you really
clocked
know?
In? Yeah. I mean, y'all been talking. She's been in y'all's mouth for the entire season. So
you know what? One thing I will say, Did y'all notice when how Louie was trying to really emphasize that him and Bill was so close, and this is not a reunion. This is something special. So I'm just curious to see this dynamic because now that obviously we know Jen is so close to Teresa, right? And then you got Bill, and then now Louie advocating for Bill and stuff like that. So I wonder how the dynamic. I feel like it's gonna be some men drama next season. It already is, but it's gonna be with Bill and stuff like that. And I wouldn't be surprised if Joe gets so mad that he bring out the cheating allegations. I would not be surprised.
Well,
I feel like
it should be some men drama, the being that Joe cussed his wife out at the damn BravoCon last year. Like, I don't even know, has Bill even addressed that? I know that happened after filming.
That probably will come up at the reunion. I'm sure it will. I don't think Bravo will let that slide, that whole little moment. So we'll see.
Bravo might be
into it at the because this had already been filmed. You know, that's right. August 6th, which is the day of the wedding. But you're right, BravoCon. Yeah, now that's gonna be interesting. I do because they should like throw a drink in him or something like that, or something like that. Yeah, it was a lot. Not
so, yeah. Lord. Okay. And like Chase did say in the comments, I did read in the blog somewhere that it was not addressed, the BravoCon thing.
It wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
That's so annoying, and that's one of those things that I really don't like about Bravo. They get so
Andy, he's protecting them.
Yeah, they get so protective of certain things. Like, don't talk about this. We're not bringing up what happened here. Like, he wants everything to be so controlled and so produced and so like this, so he can write a book about it and spill all the business later. Like,
but my thing is,
people were fighting on Twitter.
Don't be sitting up here trying to get the tea on Candy's shit about the student.
Let somebody else have some fake purses.
Right, girl. That's crazy.
We're gonna throw fake Chanel's and Louis.
Andy's gonna piss me off if that they had that. How do you get around not addressing that? Like, you have to address that. You have to. It was a big situation.
They addressed everything else, so I'm kind of confused as to why. But I hope
had Teresa gone off on Melissa or something, or Louis had gone off on Melissa, that would have been talked about.
Oh yeah, ad nauseum.
Right. Okay.
For all three parts.
Well, we don't have any callers. We were just rambling. You know, it was the special. I enjoyed the special. It was a short show. So, with that being said, Sam, you can take us on out of here. I will say again, because this is the last time I'll mention it. We are we're looking for new and fresh faces for panelists. If you have already submitted, great. I'm sure you've gotten a response. Everybody should got a response at this point. But if you're still interested, go ahead and get that in. Because beginning next week, that's when we'll start the next process, the next steps in the process to bring some panelists on. So don't tag in the Instagram or Twitter. I'm not reaching out to you. Just send the email as it specifically says, and we'll go from there. Okay. But yeah,
we're live next week, right? Immediately after the reunion, Tuesday night.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be live for the part 1, part 2, and part 3 of the reunion on beginning next Tuesday. So it'll be reunion, and then it'll be our ass. Okay, so
I'm saying that to remind myself because y'all know
that is very true.
It's okay if you forget. It's okay if you forget. We'll be here.
Oh.
And don't forget. So
Sammy, you and I never had a problem. You want to start now?
It is right here. It is right here. Okay. And don't forget, we do Summer House Martha's Vineyard. We were live, but we're going to pre-record the next few, and they should be on Monday or Tuesday.
Once the Jersey reunion ends, when the Jersey reunion ends, we'll go back to live for
Cortez. We have someone in the comments asking what is the IG page for the lean.
IG page it's on the thing right here, the lean.official. Yeah, at the lean.official. That's what it is.
Wait, the lean has an IG page?
Yeah.
Bye, Jamie.
I was only on the Twitter.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. I
am following you.
Let me update it because it used to be the lean blog, but I've been trying to get everything to the lean official except for somebody on Instagram would not give us the lean official. I had to
tag that other one.
I know. And she don't even post no more. We gotta find how to get them back.
I can antagonize her.
Bully them.
Don't bully them, y'all. No, we do not bully at the lean. But yes,
they spoke bad about Nicki Minaj. Get the barbs on them.
Yeah, the Instagram is
on that note.
We don't want no affiliation with that.
I'm fixing it right now for those who act because this shit ought to be out there. My bad. I be thinking.
Sammy, you did amazing tonight. Thank you.
Good job, Sammy.
Shout out
Thank
to
you.
everybody that's been a part of the platform that's now starting to host. It really means a lot to me.
You see all your little babies
But it
growing
really
up.
means a lot in general because we get up here and it's one thing to sit up in the square and just come talk, but to run a show, it's a whole different thing. I'm sure you probably can say so. But yeah, it's fun. Shout out to Sammy. He did a really good job.
Yeah, child. I didn't even know Tina Turner had passed away because I was on my lunch taking notes. I said, these bitches do this every
I'm
week.
telling you, I didn't know either until I got
Nobody told me nothing. Tina passed. Not Tina.
The best.
Yes.
I've been listening to her all day. You got me through my workout.
One last thing. Housewives of Atlanta will not be filmed on Monday. It is a holiday. Unless the panelists that outside of myself can put together a show and they can, I know I won't be there because I'll be just getting back from Mexico. So as of right now, Atlanta will be canceled. We'll figure out when the next show will be. If not, maybe we'll double up, but no Atlanta on Monday.
It's
All right,
Memorial Day. Nobody's gonna be sober for that.
All right, y'all. I'm out.
Like, subscribe, turn your notifications on. We out.
All right, y'all. Good night.
Marge.